Hello, beautiful souls. This is Sundri with your somewhat late lunar cycle reading for the new moon cycle beginning September 17th, 2020. For those new to my channel, these readings are divided up by element, and in this video we'll be speaking to the energies of water. This might be the element associated with your astrological sign. In the case of water, that can be Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio in any of your sun, moon, or rising houses. Or it might be the energy and element that you're simply feeling drawn to in this moment. I will update to include links in the description of each video to the other elements of this lunar cycle as well, just in case you're having trouble deciding which element feels most aligned for you right now, as there may be more than one. Please do remember that these readings are general and no reading resonates for everyone, so take what feels aligned for you and leave the rest behind. If you do feel connected to something you see or hear in these readings, I hope that it brings you insight and inspiration, and I do invite you to remember that you are the author of your own destiny. We always have the opportunity to choose whether to embrace our current state or whether to pick a different direction. So I invite you to meditate on these cards and engage your own intuition and let it guide you. If you enjoy these readings, please remember to like and subscribe, and don't forget to click on that important little bell icon that keeps you informed when I post new videos. I do also invite you to check out my Patreon, where I will be exploring these messages a bit further in an extended reading. So if you'd like to dive a bit deeper into the energy of this cycle, please do head over there after this video. For this month's new moon cycle, we're getting back on track after some delays and an unannounced break for some self-care time. As we're coming up to the autumn equinox, I wanted to use the Children of Letha Tarot for this cycle's messages, as it has a wonderful autumn energy around it. The Wild Unknown Archetypes brings us the theme for this reading, with the crone, fitting in strongly with the sense of maturing energy I've been picking up on a lot during the current astrological alignments and retrogrades. The crone is the fullest maturity of divine feminine energy. Keep in mind, we're not talking about gender or identity. When I speak about divine feminine or divine masculine in energy terms, we're talking about being either receptive or projective with our energy. The crone is really about ultimate receptivity. Nothing shifts or phases this energy. It is simply open and experienced because it knows that all things pass. All things change. And through simply being with all of this shifting, we're able to uncover the deepest of mysteries. The archetype you water children are sitting with this cycle is one of deep intuition and wisdom seeking. I want to dive deeper into this energy, so if you'd like to find out a bit more about what the crone is bringing in for you, check out the extended reading over on my Patreon. Judgment is a card of spiritual awakening, and with the archetype of the crone all over this reading, it feels like this is going to be a big one for you water signs. There is a call to wake up right now, a call to move forward and to shed what doesn't serve us, and this message seems to be coming up in some form for all the elements of this cycle. Our minds often lag behind our body when it comes to shifting. So you may have already been experiencing these changes on a physical level, but now it's time to bring in a realization of that shift to a more conscious space. The Four of Pentacles is telling us to gather up our resources and to be responsible with our physical stability. We shouldn't get too cocky about where we are, especially if we're in a good place financially, because we're not done with the moving and shaking yet, and winter is coming. Again, the mature viewpoint of the crone is reminding us to be present with what is, with an eye to understanding what is coming, because we've seen these cycles before. Tapping into that receptive energy is going to go a long way towards giving you perspective, and it helps to ground us emotionally when we're experiencing hardships. So now is not the time for impulsiveness or unfrugality. I am feeling a lot of heavy energy for this reading for water, and I'm going to say if you suffer from depression, do be gentle with yourself this cycle, as it is not one filled with bubbling enthusiasm or energy highs. Normally with this deck, I don't really read reversals, but this one really felt like it was properly placed, so it stays. The sun reversed is letting us know that sometimes we're not going to feel enthusiastic or empowered, and that is okay. You don't have to fake it or be bright and shiny for the benefit of others right now. Even reversed, though, this card is still one of positive vibes, just to a lesser degree than when it's upright. I feel like there is an invitation here to take pleasure in the little things. Paired with the Four of Pentacles, this isn't about big spending or high adventure. With the energy of the crone, I feel like this is more about taking joy in the crunch of fall leaves, the crispness of the blue sky, the feeling of the air around you and the sunlight in your teacup, or the pumpkin spice in your coffee, if that's your thing. After all this heaviness, our waxing gibbous just before the full moon is bringing in some fresh energy and enthusiasm, finally. All the aces are a gift, and this feels like the lifting of the somber mood will definitely be appreciated by the end of this cycle. Just know that this mood lifter is coming, and that if you simply stay receptive, this cycle, the natural flow of time, is going to bring it right to you. No effort required. With our full moon in Aries at the end of this lunar cycle, this really makes me think so much of what is being experienced in our energy and emotions is tied to what is happening astrologically. If you're interested in learning more about the astrology of our times, I do highly recommend Esoteric Healing on YouTube. I'll leave a link in the description below, but Sky is one of my favorite astrologers to follow, and he has some incredible insights on how these alignments and retrogrades and conjunctions are all making or breaking our state of being, both individually and in the collective. So I really do suggest checking him out. May you find the ability within you to embrace the receptive state you're being asked to take right now. May the wisdom that is coming bring you insight, and may you find the little things that multiply into joy within each and every day. Thank you for joining me for this lunar cycle reading for the element of water. I will link the other elemental readings for this cycle in the description below as they are released. If you enjoyed this reading, please remember to like and subscribe, and consider checking out my Patreon for the extended readings for this cycle, as well as more soul-supporting content. Until next time, light and love to you all. For those sticking around for the extended reading, let's get right into it. The Spirit de la Lune deck spit out 2 cards to talk about the energy anchoring our archetype of the crone this cycle. The waxen gibbous card of focus is the why those of water are connecting to the archetype of the crone this cycle. We have been scattered by having to take in so much emotion and information from all those around us and everything blasting through the world right now. And this has really diffused our own energy for forward momentum. The pairing of the Judgment card anchored by the sun is reinforcing this sense for me too. There is a call to awareness, a call to spiritual awakening. It is anchored in the need for clarity and a renewal of our passion and our drive. This is not just a wake up, your toast is burning kind of call. Judgment is about awakening to an entirely new way of being. This is full spiritual transformation in progress, stripping off layers, shining light into shadows, and shaking everything up until our old patterns break apart. The Sun card brings in light and joy, so despite change being an uncomfortable state to be in, there is so much hope and promise that things are happening in order to become more right. The Four of Pentacles, anchored by the energy of the Hermit, is really saying that this cycle is not about community opinion or about giving to others. You need to find your own path and walk it. There is a sense of needing to protect your path as well. This particular Four of Pentacles has always had a somewhat defensive feeling to me. And here, especially paired with the Hermit, I feel like this is really a discussion on not being moved from your soul path. Again, here too is a honing of your focus and a filtering out of outside opinion. You know you best. And if you can sit with the openness of the crone energy, you're going to be able to identify the direction you truly need to be going. The second card that came up from the Spirit de la Lune deck is the Peacemaker. And I feel like this is the what, or maybe the where of our reading. This is where we are heading and what we are trying to achieve. The Peacemaker has a lot of Libra energy to it, with a focus on creating balance and harmony within our energy field. The Strength card comes in to balance our Sun in reverse and shows us that self-compassion and gentleness are what we need to be applying to ourselves in order to turn this card back the right way. Instead of looking for direction to point blame for our current situation, maybe we just need to allow ourselves to feel it with the crone as our guide and to move through that experiencing with steadfastness and compassion. We need to literally make peace with ourselves and our experiences in order to regain the clarity and our zest for life. Maybe that means grieving for what we are having to leave behind. Maybe it means being angry for a while in order to clear out the stagnation that's blocking us. Whatever that means for you, compassion is the answer to moving through it. The Peacemaker also holds a great deal of influence over the Ace of Wands, as it is rooted in the energy of the Hanged Man. I feel like the universe is asking us to surrender to the flow of this rebalancing, to allow ourselves to be guided and to be open to looking at our world in an entirely new way. It is this new, fresh perspective that's going to bring in the energy we need to move forward with renewed focus and empowerment. Surrender is a word that often seems to be viewed with some negative connotations, as though we are losing a battle or giving up on something. In reality, surrender is about recognizing when something is detrimental to us or when it's not aligned. It is freeing ourselves from caging opinions or beliefs and opening to being witness to what actually is. Not just what we perceive, but what we are experiencing from a fully objective viewpoint. We can surrender to pleasure. We can surrender limiting views or beliefs. We can surrender to the flow, and we can surrender the weight we have been carrying. By surrendering the hold we have on all of these things, we open ourselves to receiving something new that is so much more aligned with what we truly need. What you do with this insight is entirely up to you, but may it help you to see your path forward with clarity. Thank you all so much for your support, and until next time, be gentle with yourselves.